Hi, welcome back. So let's see what's going on today. There's been some massive energetic shifts and stuff that we've been going through lately. So let's see if there's any advice or any other, things that we need to know that could help us get through whatever it is that everybody's going through with the, changes and stuff. Okay. So first up we have is feminine intellect. So it seems like okay, so when it's talking about the feminine intellect, it's talking about like your spiritual side, such as like your abilities or your gifts or whatever it is, like psychic intuition, whatever it is, your sixth sense and stuff. So especially with Pluto and Aquarius now, anybody, who is already experiencing their feminine intellect are going to have instances where it's got a lot more in tune or, you know, more prominent. And even with people who haven't really used it much or haven't been really aware of having it, they're starting to come around to seeing that it's even there, which is pretty neat, because we all have it. We all have these things. There's nothing that I can do that, anybody else can't do, and vice versa. We all could do the same thing, So next up we have is the fiery wrath. So, which makes sense. So the energetics that we've been moving out of are the things that are trying to, or have in the past, limit the feminine intellect of like these gifts and stuff. We're not just talking about gender here, okay? We're just talking about energetics. And we have both feminine and masculine. It's just different traits, and some people hold different ones more abundantly than others, and they switch, and they're always progressing and changing. The goal is one of the goals is to equally be in tune with both aspects, and that's creating the well-rounded self and everything, and knowing yourself authentically and without having to like overcompensate and stuff like that. So when it's talking about the wrath, it's like, I don't know. I don't really want to say the battle of good and evil, because it's not really a thing. It's all about attitude and and it. Okay, so based on frequency, high frequency and low frequency. High frequency is like excited and happiness. Okay, it's like the elated state of ionic particles. Now, like lower state frequency, you're going to be like frustrated in fight, flight, or freeze. It's motion, slow motion ionic particles that are like very slow. And that's when people can end up eating a lot of junk food, feel unmotivated, lazy, not have ambition, self doubt. Those are all lower vibrational frequencies, and that's how they affect people. Now, low vibrational frequencies are still trying to stay low vibrational, though, as the ascension process goes, everything is moving faster in speed. So it's getting, as they call, ascended, So as the whole planet is ascending energetically, it's like also consciousness. Consciousness is also ascending. So with the heightened, excited particles of the ionic field, it's also more energetic, and there's going to be more electromagnetic frequencies and a lot of things like that. So, and the fiery wrath, it's like trying to slow everything back down and stop the ascension of consciousness. Now, with the ascension of consciousness, it does cause people to be more in tune with their feminine intellect and those extrasensory abilities and stuff like that people have, like mediumship, being able to see things, hear things, feel things that aren't necessarily here, or things that are unexplainable. And so it's like the lower vibrational things are wanting you to not see them or not be aware of certain things. Because if the lower the vibrational frequency is, the more, ability it is to be manipulated, and things like that. Like, I don't like brainwashing or something, any of those things, it's malleable, but when the higher the frequency and the higher the vibrational state, same thing of being like spiritually enlightened or anything like that, that you could call it whatever you want. It's called many different things in many different aspects, and from different perspectives, like from science to like religion. It's the same thing, just being described as something else. So, yeah. So what it is that those extrasensories are not wanting to be used by lower vibrationals because the lack of control that lower vibrational frequencies will be able to have on higher vibrational frequencies. Okay, I had no idea that this was going to end up like this, but I'm just going with whatever's coming out. So the next thing we have is forgiveness, mildness, and kindness. So it is important that as we're progressing and as society and the consciousness in itself is becoming elated, it is important to forgive the things that are a lower vibration or negative experiences, people that talk negatively and all those kinds of things too. Because holding forgiveness for the things, that have held us back also is a way of releasing. And when you're releasing those baggages and those traumas, you're able to ascend even more. Okay. So it's important to have forgiveness for the things, that were perceived as keeping us down, but we don't have to choose to do that anymore. Next thing we have is reconciliation. So I'm feeling that is like within yourself, because the biggest battle that we ever fight in life is the one inside ourselves, and we always fight against ourselves on, should we do it? Should we not do it? Should we trust it? Should we not trust it? But the thing is that you got to take yourself and reconcile with all aspects of yourself, and also forgive yourself as well, and literally like merge both parts of you together, like all of the negative vibration or lower vibrational frequencies and all of the higher vibrational frequencies within yourself, and release self-judgment, and stop fighting with your inner self, and just surrender to your true authenticity so that you could truly fully become who you are, so that you can really progress in life or progress in your skills, abilities, the things that you're passionate about, just life in general, because your inner state is going to be reflected on the outside of you. So if you are chaotic and intense on the inside and you're really hard on yourself, you're a hard critic, telling yourself, well, you should have done this better, you could have done that better, or I should have done this, you're being hard on yourself. And when you're doing that on the inside of yourself, the outside of yourself is also going to be hard on yourself. It's going to give you reasons and experiences that will make it where you criticize yourself harshly, because you're pretty much telling yourself that that's what you want. So if you forgive yourself and stop fighting with yourself in that way on the inside, and you literally try to find peace, do meditation, grounding techniques, anything like that. And you can hug a tree, just take a breath, take a step back, cool off, do anything like that. And then, you'll be able to really open up and focus better. You'll be more motivated to do things, more ambitious to follow your dreams, and be less likely to be manipulated into having a thought process or pattern that could end you up back doing something that you really don't want to do, because it's part of the process is to release those kinds of habits, those things that we just sometimes mindlessly do, you know, and we fall back into the same old state of, brainwave frequencies because it's something that our minds are used to going back to, just like driving to work and back, you just get used to it. It becomes a habitual pattern, same thing in your brain when it comes to like brainwave, the electrodes that go off in your brain. You have to reprogram your thought pattern to think something else, to think a better thought, instead of being always down on yourself, maybe do compliments instead, like, oh, wow, see the good in life instead of always looking at the negative things. And that'll help a lot too. It'll bring a lot less frustration. All right. Next thing we have is the ship of conflict, which is pretty much what we just talked about, about letting go of, those harsh judgments, all the conflicts that are those inner conflicts that we're having on the inside of ourselves, And so let's get out this deck here. Take a drink of my coffee. Okay. And let's see what else there is. Make sure too, like if you're doing a lot of this internal healing work and whatnot, make sure you stay hydrated because you can get really dehydrated because with the elated state of the ionic particle field and stuff like that, it uses a lot of water and stuff like that. So especially like people who channel, people who are mediums, they do those kinds of things. A lot of times they'll find themselves really, really dehydrated. And when you're doing this kind of work, and you get dehydrated, you also start getting into a lower vibrational frequency because there's not enough water in your body to keep up with the higher energetic flow. So some people can start getting angry, frustrated, upset, things like that. So it's important to make sure that you take care of your body and drink plenty of water, get plenty of sleep, and eat a good diet because you are what you eat, They call it mindfulness diet, or they call it many different things, eating mindfully. But it's definitely important to make sure you're staying on top of your health, especially when doing this work. And that'll definitely help. Okay, at the bottom of the deck, we have the Four of Wands. So it's like building something. So building something strong. Now look, light in the darkness. So it's like I don't know, like the sea parting, we're seeing apart things, that have been keeping ourselves separate in the dark, and we're being able to bring it to light. And the fire is almost like knowledge, when you're burning something, you're making it into like smoke, which is returning to spirit in a way, so it's like you're being able to sit down, take a step back, look at the situation, see what it is, get what you need out of it, and really grow from it. Okay. Next thing we have is the Tower, so it seems like there's a lot of big energetic changes happening, especially with whatever growth people are going through right now. A lot of people's abilities are, like I said, getting more intense, and a lot of people are experiencing things they've never experienced before and don't know how to explain it. There's many resources out there and many other practitioners who are aware, so just reach out to any of those. There's a lot of good resources on many different media outlooks and stuff like that, who experience many different clairvoyancies or claircognizance, clairsentient, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, all kinds of different things. So just make sure you do that. And fear also, I'm feeling, because I got the Ten of Wands. So this is my blockage card, okay, in this deck. So, but the first thing I got from it was feeling fearful. Feeling fearful will block you from those experiences. It'll kind of shut them up in a way. And being scared of them and not knowing what to do will block your progress in the ascension process. Which, I mean, it's okay. Everything is based on your choice and how fast you want to go. But it's also blocking you from being your authentic self, blocking you from really following your dream, your heart's desires, and literally like being the person that inside that you truly are, and that's part of not fighting with yourself anymore. It's literally surrendering to the process of your own conscious growth, Next thing we have is the Son of Cups. So there's an emotional, it's like emotions coming. So with this, okay, as vibrational frequencies rise up, it also brings those lower things to the surface. So it could bring up a lot of different emotions from the inside of us, a lot of hidden triggers that we've suppressed and bottled up. And we start remembering those things, okay? And then some people can run away from them and try to keep bottling them back up, but eventually they're going to keep coming back up over and over again until you actually do the healing work to release them. There's some really good practices. I don't know if I'm going to say this right, but Ho'oponopono is one of them. It's like a self-forgiveness, self-love kind of thing. And it's a practice that a lot of people do to release certain things and traumas and triggers from childhood experiences and even ones in our adulthood. So, if you need help, there's plenty of resources out there for, somebody to talk to. Just look it up. And if you need help, just call somebody, you don't have to go through this alone. Next up, we have the Three of Cups. So it's like there's something promising coming, like emotional growth, which is beautiful, especially if you're doing like releasing work and getting rid of old things that we have bottled up. It can bring a lot of emotional growth and potentially new experiences in life that we've never thought possible. A lot of people have came to the just being okay with, well, that was a dream of mine. I'm okay with not following it, or, things like that. They just give up on their dreams in life. And it doesn't matter how old you are, you can still follow your dreams, And so a lot of people's dreams are starting to come true. And that pathway of something they once thought was unattainable is now looking different. It looks like, well, maybe I can go and do that thing that I've never done and wanted to do. Maybe I can, do this. So it's like with everything progressing, it's also progressing our dreams and our wishes to come to us as well. So the more work that we do on ourselves, the more things that the universe will also bring to our lives as well. Because the more we bring ourself to ourself, the more the universe will bring it to us too. Okay, here we go. We've got the World card, which is literally what we were just talking about, bringing something beautiful. So this is like a snake with transformation, with a rainbow. Okay, but it's also like an eye. So it's like seeing transformation and then here is like a black patch and there's flowers growing. So it's like seeing the beautiful transformation of light and beautiful things growing out of darkness. Okay, so, and I say this all the time, is some of the most beautiful things in the world that do come from pain, like children. Children are so beautiful and they're so painful to have, but I'll tell you what, if you have them and you're mom and you've given birth, or if you're a dad and you've went through the emotional struggles that a woman goes through and been there to support her and everything like that while she's going through it. And even just seeing somebody you love go through something like that, it could be painful, you know. But in the end, after your child's here, it's very beautiful. It's a whole new world opening up, you know. So beautiful things do arise out of pain, you know, but they don't always have to be. And we're coming to that moment in life and in society that we can experience beauty in life without pain. We just have to see that that's even possible, okay? Next up, we have the High Priestess card, okay? So this is about inner strength, inner beauty, as well as like having that knowledge. It's also, the High Priestess card is speaking of the feminine intellect again, remember, it's not about genders. It's about a vibrational frequency, okay? And it's more of a heightened vibrational frequency, more of a knowing and less of a doing, okay? So it's like you're trusting the universe and know and trust that yourself will flow down the river and get you right where you need to go, and you trust yourself, you know, and trust the knowledge from within to lead you there, you know? So it's like standing in your own power, being your authentic self, doing it without being like smug about it, but do it compassionately and elegantly, because a white Bengal tiger is very elegant. You know, they're not posh or anything like that. They're gentle. Well, I mean, in a way, they can be. In this card, it looks like it is, you know, and it's like a marble, but it also looks like the world. So it's like it is strong and confident in the world, you know, and it's not letting anything get to it. It's not letting anything affect that inner strength and courage that it's holding. The next card we have is, imagine that, the Sun. Standing in your power and releasing everything will bring about beautiful things to happen. Bright new situations, new experiences, your dreams. Like when you are experiencing a dream that you never thought possible, on the inside you feel like you're going to explode. You get so excited, and that's kind of like this card right here. You know, it from the inside it's exploding in excitement, okay? And yellow and orange is like creativity. So it's like you're exploding with creativity. You know, we're all creator beings. We literally every day we create something. Like I'm creating this video right now, and you're creating the space to watch it, you know? So